So the solution is obviously EBX from Orchestra Networks. As you can see, some of the web portraits, but the things that we found most beneficial were the data modeling, the validation and quality rules, authoring, hierarchy management, and the version control, and even most important is the role-based security. And I'll talk a little bit about that in a bit. But it gave us the ability to give to more people under the constraints of how the workflow drives the process. So you don't necessarily have to limit the number of people that are involved in this process, as long as you have a tool that lets you get more people involved in doing the right thing at the right time. It's pretty neat stuff. And it's the standard-based integration to the applications was something that was delivered as an add-on as well. So this models the connection between the business teams and the IT teams, and you can see the initial data models. You iterate on those, you share them with your stakeholders, and they provide comments or they provide corrections. It goes through the full life cycle. The enabled workflows and the roles and access rights with the application of the business rules actually give you the finished model, which is tested and then it's go live. And then below that we use the same method for prototyping integration to our other applications that you saw on a slide earlier. So the benefits that we've already realized out of this is we were able to create new attributes in the model. So you give, for instance, our headquarters group, our connection to the press and the retailer in a confidential way. Not everyone gets everything. We have multiple items that we can now manage. We may have a game that has a toy that goes with it that has a T-shirt, that has a figurine. Not only that, we can also manage those particular items as well. Which are accessories. We have a number of consumer products that we sell as well. It gave us a way to capture those all as well. We manage our ratings now, and all of the object creation components of the product actually make it much faster to do that in the first place. So as it goes from production to distribution to headquarter reporting, it's all seamless in the same language. The improved reporting for us is not necessarily on the MDM itself, but it's in the resulting applications. We do sell products across multiple zones. We do sell products of similar genres and similar types, first-person shooters versus role-based games. And even though they may be different titles, there are certain pieces of those games that can be connectable across the games. And just imagine, speaking about everything in the same language, you're able to develop all of the reports that can start to pick out the nuggets of things that you want to drive sales in your business. In addition to that, one layer below the ERPs are numbers of data warehouses as well. Well, the hierarchies and all of the master data flows all the way through to your data warehouses as well. And so this the core, or the hub, drives everything down into multiple types of reporting across single departments within business entities, finance, supply chain management, inventory, all those things. And the only key, or the only way to get to that, is by doing something like this. We were able to generate new views that we'd never had before. You can see there's EMEA and NCSA distribution units. Well, now you can do standalone or combined or consolidated reporting across those. Plus, you have the studio and group visions, which are often completely different for different reasons. Well, before we couldn't distinguish all of those different entities, and we couldn't group and combine those to make sense out of some of the things that we were looking at. And this was enabled through doing this. The object linking provides a significantly improved reporting. You saw the the links between the organizations and the data hierarchies themselves. Those relationships actually drive the ability to do distinct combinations of products to contracts, projects to products and their budgets as well. And the history of all of the installment names, which drove us nuts before, you will see when a product is first introduced, it always has this stage name, which is it's not what it's going to really be called when it's actually distributed. Well, the thing is, we start producing marketing materials almost immediately after the development teams start in a project, because our marketing life cycles may start 12 months before we actually launch something. Well, connecting all of those names through the life cycle of the product is really important, because you keep track of costs and you keep track of the intellectual properties, and that's driven through the digital asset management piece, which is also connected. And there's an easily enabled API that goes to your BI solutions if you're so inclined. We use business objects, and the universe creation was simple through the database itself. Okay? And so some of the business enhancements is that we were finally able to implement governance and data quality process globally. Not possible before. The workflow manages all of that across zones and entities. It finally gave us the chance to go through a process of really cleansing what we had in all of those multiple silos in multiple languages with different names. The role-based security that I mentioned before gave us the chance to get more people involved instead of having fewer people arguing over what they were calling things in the first place. It's a nice attribute of the product. And it created a new common nomenclature. And can you believe that? It's another language was created as a result of this, a common language. And that's a huge hurdle was a huge hurdle for us at first, and certainly will be something that you can look forward to, if you move forward in yours. And there's one central application for us to manage the core data, and so you can see the cost just starting to be driven down over time, because you have fewer people asking for more IT help to maintain that silo application that they used to do this incorrectly before. How'd that get in there? So, merci beaucoup. Quelle question vous avez? I did that for my French orchestra friends. So, thank you very much. What questions do you have? Well, the question was, who was the executive sponsor? In one of the slides I had, that's not the way we do it here. So Yves' philosophy is in building the smaller teams. For instance, a lot of the production teams may be from 20 to 300 people, and you can see that there were close to 5,500 collaborators. So a lot of countries, you have to spread those people in a lot of different places with smaller teams. So it's not our culture to do top-down. Now, you may see an email from him that indicates we're starting an MDM project, but it's rarely forceful. I think there's a lot of middle, up, and out that we employed. It was a bit of a risk, because usually you want that super strong sponsor. I think the person that managed this project did a nice job of getting around the world. He did a definition over and over and over about what MDM is and what it can provide. He did a nice job of collecting the benefits that people would receive from it, as well as the cost in what they were doing currently. So there wasn't a lot of the top-down push on that. There are basically 5 people that collaborate to run the company, And within their zones or within their entities, of course, they expressed the importance of this, but there wasn't a lot of top-down, thumbs on people to get it done. And that's just our culture. And I'm certain it would work differently in different companies, too. Yes, sir.
I have a question. Could you say a word about how you manage the information architecture, or more specifically, the architects who brought all this information together into such nice hierarchies?
That's a weakness for us. We don't have a strong data architect. Now the way this was architected, we used some outside help to get this done. We have database administrators all over the place. They're working in every platform, both on the business side and the production side. So we certainly have a high aptitude for data hierarchy awareness. We do not have, until this project was done, we did not have a clear picture of the correct architecture for project, product, and contracts. So it was a combination of some legacy DBAs as well as our implementer that helped us get to that point. And the product made it super simple too. So there's often you lose the true knowledge that's built into the tool. You just don't see it, right? You don't use Office products and think, wow, I love that piece of functionality. It's just the way it works. And so the EBX product made some of these things a little bit simpler. And so I don't know that we absolutely had to have that architecture guru that helped us with it. Well, welcome to a getaway day at the MDM Summit.